What is going on, everyone? Welcome to my channel. For this video, we're going to be talking about the Rams 2023 season, their off season, and how I think they're going to do in the 2024 season. And so the Los Angeles Rams, they started the 2023 season with a 3-6 record, and it doesn't take a genius to tell you that that's not very good. But surprisingly, they were able to turn their season around, finished with a 10-7 record, which was good enough for the 6th seed in the playoffs. And they almost beat the Lions, who made it to the NFC Championship. They only lost by a single point, and there were some ups and downs in that season, but you've had guys like Puka Nacua having one of the best rookie seasons for a wide receiver in NFL history. And you had Matthew Stafford bouncing back from a disappointing 2022 season that was just filled with injuries top to bottom for this Rams team. So a pretty successful season, I must say. A lot better than I thought they were going to do, and probably a lot better than a lot of people thought they were going to do. But judging by how bad they did the season prior, where they only won like 5 games or something like that. So this obviously isn't every single Rams transaction, free agency, and the draft and all that, but it's their most splashy ones in my opinion. They signed Tre'Davious White to play cornerback, and I don't necessarily think that's the biggest move, but that could be a good move, because he's played for a while. He could show some leadership. And, he's not in his prime, but, that leadership could go a long way for some of those younger guys in the secondary. And they also drafted Jared Verse in the first round in the draft. And a big reason why they drafted Jared Verse was because Aaron Donald, he retired. He has been one of the Rams' defensive ends for, I believe, 10 years, and he was one of the best defensive ends to ever play the game, and he retired. He decided that he didn't want to play anymore, and with that came a huge hole to fill, and they're attempting to do that with Jared Verse, which obviously, expecting the next Aaron Donald is absolutely insane, but they're just doing their best to fill the void the best they can, because it does genuinely suck that he retired when the Rams are still good, And I forgot to mention this, Kyren Williams, a running back on the Rams, he was a rookie as well, or it might have been second year, I'm not sure. He had a really good season as well. So a lot of young players just contributing very well on this Rams offense, which was able to catapult them to the playoffs. And if there's one negative I have to say about this team is that going to happen again? Are they going to have that many career years from younger guys like that? I would say no, because that's very rare for that to even happen. But I still think they'll be a solid team. I don't think they're going to be complete dog shit or anything like that. They have a head coach, they have Sean McVay. He is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. I think as long as he's on that team, he is going to make sure that this team is going to be competitive. The only true bad season he had was 2022. And even then, there were a ton of injuries for that team. Matthew Stafford got hurt that year. Cooper Kupp got hurt that year. I believe Aaron Donald also got hurt that year. A bunch of shit happened that year that just was out of their control with the injury bug and all that. And they made it. They literally won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So this has been just a genuinely successful franchise. And although I don't necessarily think they're going to go 10-7 again, I think they might go, somewhere 8 or 9 wins, something like that. Just because they're not going to have Aaron Donald, I'm assuming, not going to have the same production from Puka and Kyren Williams. Not that those players are bad or anything like that, but it's just really hard to match that production because they've got a target on their back now. Those guys aren't just no-name players that people never heard of. People know who those guys are, which comes with consequences because teams are going to figure out how to game plan around them and all that, which is going to have to lead to other guys stepping up. And I'm not sure, the Rams have those guys. They might. I mean, we don't really know. I mean, hell, we didn't know who Puka Nacua or Kyren Williams was this time last year. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, they could go 10-7 again. They might even go 11-6. I did say 8 or 9. That was probably a little harsh. I'd say their ceiling is 11-6, and I'd say their floor is around 7-10, something like that. So I really don't think this team's going to win the division or anything like that. They have the 49ers in their division, and I do think they're the second best team though, because they're better than the Seahawks. They're better than the Cardinals, and you could argue the Seahawks are better, but I really don't think they are, just because the Seahawks, they don't necessarily have the greatest quarterback. They have Geno Smith, but he's nothing, that special. He's old too, and the Cardinals are still rebuilding. 49ers are obviously a juggernaut. They made the Super Bowl last season, and they're always going to be a threat with Kyle Shanahan and all those young players on that team. But I definitely don't hate where the Rams are either. The fact that they won a Super Bowl and they're still this competitive, and they don't even have a superstar quarterback or anything like that. Most of the teams that win Super Bowls, do it because they have some top 5 or top 10 quarterback or something like that. But, the Rams, and Matthew Stafford's not a bad quarterback or anything like that, but he is not even close to a top 5. Top 10 arguably, but definitely not top 5. So it is really impressive that they won the Super Bowl, which, for any team to do that is really hard to do. And they're still this competitive, despite, what I just said about them not having a superstar quarterback or anything like that. So I really do like where this team is heading. And I know people were talking about how giving up all their first round picks as they were doing. This year was actually the first year they used a first round pick since they drafted Jared Goff back in 2016, 2017. No, it was 2016. That's right. I always forget. So I guess that Jared Goff pick, it didn't work out super well for the Rams because he wasn't at the time good enough to lead this team to the promised land. So, the Rams decided to just not use their first round picks and just trade him for proven talent, which, people were giving him a bunch of shit about, and rightfully so. It's such a bold strategy. You're bound to get any criticism that you can, just because that's how it is in the NFL. But, they won a Super Bowl, and they are still a fairly competitive team. And I think they're fine. I don't think them giving up all those first round picks has any, negative effect or anything like that. They already are caught up. They had a first round pick this year, and they already are, good from that aspect. But, you win a Super Bowl, that's going to shut up a lot of doubters. And that's basically what they did. Because I was kind of confused as well about why they were doing that. But, you win a Super Bowl, you do what you set out to do every single year, and you did it. And, a lot of teams can't do it. There's teams that still haven't won a Super Bowl, even made it to the Super Bowl. So it's a huge accomplishment. So, just a good franchise these past couple years. A lot better than when they had Jeff Fisher as their head coach, kept going 7-9 and shit like that. I didn't watch the NFL back then, but I just heard about how much of an idiot he was and how bad the teams were with him and how irrelevant they were. They've really come a long way from that. But that's all I got to say about the Rams and their real life, shenanigans. We'll shift our focus to the game right now. We were up 17-0, and now we're only up by 3 as the Texans are trying to march back. We have the ball. It's 3rd down and 1. We'll see what Stafford does here. He passes to his tight end. Pass is caught. It'll be 1st down and 10 at the 38-yard line. A touchdown here basically puts this out of reach. And we get a first down with Kyren Williams as the Texans defense really struggling there. Stafford on first down and 10 is going to rush it himself, get a 7-yard gain to make it 2nd down and 3. That'll end the third quarter. And if you might not have noticed this, but I have been running clock a lot in this game just because that's just how, I feel like I could win with this team. Because if I try to pass the ball too much, I'm prone to throwing interceptions and shit like that. So that's why the clock is running faster than you might know than usual. As Puka Nacua picking up a first down and 10 to make it first down and goal at the 3. And a touchdown here would be huge. Kyren Williams does a 360 flip. It'll be 2nd down and goal at the 2. He gets a yard out of that. Somehow doesn't land on his head or anything like that. So that's good for him. He doesn't get a gain on this carry, as we're still going to give him the ball on the next play. 3rd down and goal. Stafford's going to throw a pass is caught, but he is going to be short about a yard. 4th down and goal. Big decision here. We'll see what Sean McVay and the Rams do. 2-minute warning as well. And it looks like we're going to go for it. Stafford's going to hand off to his fullback, and he tops over everybody and gets a touchdown. And good thing our fullback's not, a normal fullback. He's pretty small for a fullback. It's probably the only reason he was able to get a touchdown on that play. But a score is a score, and we are up by 10. Texans have less than 2 minutes left to get a touchdown and probably an onside kick, unless they save all their timeouts and force a 3 and out. So we'll see what they're able to do. 1st down and 10, CJ Stroud back to pass, going to throw, and this pass is picked off. He cannot do that. And it looks like CJ Stroud just signed the death warrant for the chances of winning this game. All the Rams have to do is get a first down, and they are basically home free. They don't get it on that play, but they get 8 yards. And for some reason, the Texans aren't even bothering calling their timeout. 2nd down and 2, unnecessary spin by Kyren Williams. It'll be 3rd down and 1. I don't know why they're not using their timeouts. They have them. I guess they just kind of threw in the towel there, as our fullback who got the touchdown gets the first down to officially seal the game, because my opponent decided just not to really use any timeouts. So I guess he just wanted to get out of here, which I can't blame him too much, because it is kind of frustrating to lose in the fashion he did. But honestly, he was a good opponent. I like how he was able to just fight back from 17-0 and put up a fight, because there were points in the game where I thought I was going to lose. Usually a game's either super lopsided against me or super lopsided in favor of me, and this was one of those games where, honestly, the game was closer than the final score. The only reason it was even, like that is because, when you're up by 10, or down by 10 rather, and you have less than 2 minutes to work with, you kind of have to do something, and that's what they tried to do, and it just didn't work because we were prepared for it. But GG's to the Texans. They played a good game, and it was fun using the Rams, and it was fun talking about them and their endeavors to make the playoffs again and maybe win another Super Bowl or something like that. Interesting team. Definitely not a, team definitely not a traditional team, because the whole no first round picks thing, the whole, having Stafford win a Super Bowl, even though people said he never would with the Lions. Anyway, thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far, and I will see you in my next video.